Hello and welcome to the Dad and Sons podcast. This week, George spent money on a video game, and I'm very excited to hear about it. Take it away.
Yes.
I spend money on games sometimes, just not $60 a couple days after launch.
Yeah.
And that's what I did with Deathloop, because I needed something to talk about on the podcast and on the real channel, too. So I'll consider it a business expense.
Yeah, you can do that. That's your job. That softens the blow for you.
Well, guess what? Guess what I get for my $60 is these stutterings that a lot of people are reporting. That's happening to me. The mouse capture. Liam, what platform are you playing on?
I was playing on PC, and there is definitely some tearing and stuff that was actually making me a little sick, to be honest.
And how does the mouse feel to you? Is it just me, or is it a little like some syrup is stuck on your
Yeah,
mouse?
I had to spend a fair bit of time changing the mouse sensitivity because it was slow in the very beginning.
It feels like it's either a VSync issue or a software mouse capture issue not working 100%.
Damn.
But I mean, it's little things. Deathloop is a good game that is suffering from little things until they smooth it over a few weeks from now, I'm assuming. But yeah, I played a bit of Deathloop.
The one game you pick is the one game that actually has like a shitty launch.
Dude, it's not a shitty... Okay,
No, it does have a shitty launch.
but it's almost all of them.
Yeah.
Like, the last game I think I spent $60 on launch for was Sekiro, and everyone kind of, the PC world at least, really kind of like lucked out with that. Ever since Dark Souls 1, the FromWhere PC releases have like launched on day one without a hitch.
Yeah, Sekiro ran like butter. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
It's not different from 2014. AAA multi-platform launches where the PC is oftentimes not the primary platform are better off waited at least a few weeks for some patches.
So why did you opt to go with Deathloop then?
HowLongToBeat.com says it is under 20 hours. And of the big current new releases, I'm into stealth games and first-person arcane, go through everyone's drawers games anyway, right? And yeah, I'm going to play that and the Unmetal game Matt showed me over this week, the Metal Gear Solid parody. But anyways, Deathloop!
So what do you think? It's coincidental. I had a very long talk with our Discord today, especially our user Contrail, who had a good time talking to me about issues I have with it and maybe other issues that other people don't have, which is player choice and the game encouraging you in certain ways or not encouraging you. How are you feeling?
I am sorry to report that I have found that just kind of walking seems to be my primary play style at Deathloop. I might have shot like 4 enemies in the face with the nail gun out of the 4 hours I was playing. It's still deep in tutorial mode for what you were saying last week. That is true. The tutorial looks like it's going to go on forever. But it's piss easy. It doesn't feel like I need to be shooting anyone. It barely feels like I need to be sneaking past anyone, too, because there's these alternate routes that the levels I've gone through so far have where there's just barely anyone patrolling them whatsoever. And when the gunfights do happen, despite how wacky and silly the weapons and powers are, there is still no quicker, easier, safer way to end the gunfight than just shooting someone in the face with the nail gun, pointing and clicking on bad guy heads. It kind of feels like they made this game before you guys. It feels like I've played this before. It feels like Dishonored. It feels a lot more like Dishonored than its own thing.
Oh, man, you're convincing me right now to get this game, man. You're convincing me so hard, George.
Well, maybe it'll get good later. I'm only 4 hours in. Liam's more in than I am, so maybe he's gotten to the more of the good stuff.
No, honestly, this was the thing I talked about today in the Discord. No, I honestly played more.
Boy.
No, I played more. I mean, I haven't really done much this week other than watch SpongeBob, but...
Wow. Okay.
I know, honestly. It's been a wild week.
Don't be like me.
I'm not going to put 1,000 hours into SpongeBob. I wish I could. I don't have that kind of time with the yellow sponge. But, no, I did play some more because I wanted to see what the fuss is about. What are these 10 out of 10s? Like, I need to understand it. I do.
I wonder if it's a Dishonored thing. Like if playstyle determines.
But even then, so I'll put it to you what the argument in the Discord was today. It wasn't an argument, it was discussion based on one of the points I said last week, which is the game doesn't encourage the player to use the toolkit that's extensive and given. There's a lot of guns, there's a lot of powers. You're supposed to make loadout.
They're silly guns. They're Wolfenstein guns.
Yeah, and it never encourages you to use them in any way. In like the 10 to 12 hours I've played so far, it never encourages you to do so. It's just so easy to walk around. And I think a lot of people's perspective was, well, you can choose to choose the other guns and use them yourself. To me, that's a failure of the game.
Yeah.
Not encouraging the player to think about what the solutions might be to certain things. So, for example, one of the things I talked about in the Discord would be, well, what if you had enemies that had helmets where you couldn't shoot them in the head with the nail gun? All of a sudden, you have a problem that needs to be overcome. It's not restricting you in using the nail gun. It's just that the nail gun is less effective. Therefore, encourages you as the player to think about, well, I have this ability that allows me to teleport. Maybe I can then drop some mines and I can do these things and I could maybe knock their helmets off. I could go invisible and like smack their helmets off. I think because the game is kind of a bit more open than Dishonored. Dishonored made you feel a little more on your toes and that stealth was more important and you had to utilize things more carefully. And of course, the game rewarded you for doing so. Whereas in Deathloop, it doesn't matter because you gain guns by killing people and getting in their face. And you could either just go guns blazing or you could just walk around shooting people in the head with a nail gun. It doesn't really change anything because the AI is rather dumb, for lack of a better word. So I don't know about you, George. Are you like forcing yourself to use other things or because I don't feel in that time that I've played that the game ever encourages me to experiment with like all the things it's offering. Why do I need to change?
I will later to see how it feels like that, but I did not so far. It was just holding down the W button and pointing and clicking on heads.
Do you guys not feel it's kind of a failure of the game's design a little bit? And that might be harsh if the game doesn't encourage you as the player to think outside of the box more.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Agreed, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Deus Ex doesn't have this problem because there's enemies plastered everywhere. In Deathloop, it feels like there's one main route through the levels that has all the enemies. The alternate routes are there, but if you take them, there's just nothing there. There's no obstacles they placed in the way for you.
And they're ultimately all the same enemy, right? Minus the visionaries and stuff like that. There's very little variance with the, what do they call them? Immortals?
Eternalists.
Eternalists. There you go.
And I don't know if the aesthetic is quite where I wanted it to be either. The like retro spy, no one lives forever, Austin Powers motif seems really broken up by a lot of gritty trash everywhere and all the gratuitous amounts of blood and gore. It's uglier than I thought it would be, is the thing. Are you getting that too?
Yes, a little bit. I appreciate what they're trying to achieve with it. And I do kind of like its weird cold era aesthetic, but it's definitely more Austin Powers than it is James Bond to me. It's a bit more Austin Powers than it is anything else.
Like Austin Powers' visual motif is big on pastel colors and groovy, curvy shapes. And here you'll have the pastel colors and groovy, curvy shapes placed in like a harsh diagonal city square covered in trash with little bits of blobs and balls that are covering up like that solid scheme of pastel colors that then gets broken up by all the Dishonored blue metal. The Half-Life 2 artist whose signature trademark is like this kind of opaque sheen of a blue metal every now and then. Like the aesthetic is... it's all over the place. Because the game looked so cool in marketing. I dig the retro Cold War aesthetic, of course. Retro Cold War games are my fave.
They're definitely trying to hit upon what are the typical archetype stuff of that era, though. Here's like a TV set, like a 60s TV studio, and here is like a 60s space base. And
the ugliest of 60s aesthetics, though. Like, it is the ugliest 60s TV they could find in the old catalogs.
Yeah.
Next to like an egg chair with like a Brady Bunch living room with Austin Powers flowers on the wall. But in front of all that is just so much little jagged pieces of trash. I don't know, they're just messing with my flow, man. And all the like floaty bits of magic that the story is so dependent on with terminology like eternalists. Eternalists is, you could just say like temporary immortals.
well, that's just as terrible. But
It's just as terrible, but there could have been more thought put into it. A word that doesn't take like 3 syllables.
I do like the dialogue.
I don't know how I feel about the dialogue either.
I like Colt's voice actor a lot. I think his conversations with
He
Juliana,
just screams.
I think he talks quite realistically. And I also like some of the Eternalist stuff where it's like, oh, god damn, I hope it's not Colt. And then the other person's like, what does it matter? You'll just be back alive tomorrow. That kind of stuff is funny. I feel like, there's some attention to detail to the situation they're in. There's an awareness from the NPCs about what's going on, which is like the only awareness they ever show, because you can kill someone in front of them and they have no fucking idea what just happened.
They're very aware that they are in a campy, silly, retro spy themed video game. They're far more aware of that than they are of you walking casually past them down the street, making all the noise you can. While Colt will then scream something like, "What the fuck? I thought I was dead! Oh my god!" I feel like he should be a protagonist in a different game, though. Like, I might have the same kind of problem with Dishonored where I'm playing it too hard with my, like, no-trank, non-lethal ghosting strat.
Can I ask you another thing that, like, is a weird nitpick of mine, and I don't know why it bothers me so much, but I cannot stand the guitar distortion sounds they use for the menus.
Fuck, okay, because the music and...
No, the music's great, especially when it builds up.
Yeah, that was like the silver lining.
No, I'm just talking about the no sound in the menus, and every time you, like, roll over a button, it has, like, that Guitar Hero, like, feedback from, like, or like a distortion sound, like coming through an amp. And it's kind of like grating on the ears because you have to click so many menus and like you're doing the loadouts and all you hear is this distorted guitar sound every time. I don't know, it was a weird pet peeve of mine. Probably not bother anybody, but I actually was like looking for a button to turn it off. I was actively like, this hurts my ears.
Yeah, no, that's you.
Okay. Happy to know.
Okay, this is also one of those games where every time you turn your character's head, you hear a loud squeak of their shoes on the ground, and that drives me up a wall sometimes. Especially because the enemies can't hear... Oh.
See, okay, that's you.
Well, you get your guitar menu thing. I get my character's shoes squeaking all over the floor when I'm whipping my mouse cursor around aiming at things. That could be our thing.
As you can tell, we're having a great time with Deathloop over here, Matt.
Yeah.
But I feel like there should be a hard mode. I don't remember there being difficulty options in the menu, but there really absolutely should be a hard mode going on here, right? Like, what if it took 2 headshots? That's all I ask.
Or if there was just a scale in variety, right? Like, and the fact that it gives you essentially 3 lives each time. I don't know. It feels like the balance is all over the place. There is a power fantasy there, which I understand. The idea is you're doing a loop where you keep killing people. Therefore, you should be really good at killing people or dispatching them. Yeah. I get that. But it never encourages you to do that in interesting ways. Like, maybe changing over loops. So you're changing the loop. Therefore, why aren't the enemies changing in the loop too? So I don't know. I think there's kind of a missed trick somewhere. But I imagine people who can make their own fun. The game doesn't give you the encouragement to try things. It doesn't give you an enemy where you have to think about it and therefore try something else that you might enjoy that you then take on for the rest of the game because there's no reason to. But for players who make their own fun and choose to like, oh, I'm going to try this gun now. I wonder if I can like fire a headshot, blow him up into the mine. People who can make their own challenges like that, I think this game is going to be fun for them.
I wonder if the whole you can revive 3 times kind of sort of in the middle of the game or right on the spot where you died mechanic is ending up biting them in the ass because I feel like I might experiment more if I could exploit quick saves instead. If I had a quick save button and a quick load button, I might feel the temptation to use something other than the gun.
Like Dishonored had.
They have a 3 life system in a very easy game that makes me feel like I don't want to quick save anyway. But at the same time, since I can't experiment consequence-free like that, I'm not experimenting at all. It's a weird middle ground that I don't think accomplishes what they would want a stealth-focused player like me to be getting out of the game.
Yeah. Do you regret your purchase, your $60 purchase?
Oh, yeah, I mean, already. As soon as that money got siphoned out of my account, yes.
Siphoned. That's what you call spending money on people's creative hard work. Siphoning.
You gotta put it on the taxes. You gotta put it on taxes.
Yeah, I'll put it on the taxes, but yeah, when I run out of money and have to move out, I will be thinking about how I bought Deathloop for $60.
Oh no!
Yes, you are correct. I do regret it. I'm still crossing my fingers and hoping that the later levels are going to be more challenging, or that I will just find some trick in this game, some playstyle quirk that will stick with me. So I'm not hopeless, but if I had waited like a few months and bought the game when it was $40, I bet it would be smoother experience regardless. Anyway,
you picked the worst game to buy for $60. You literally picked the worst game to buy for $60. Like literally the worst game you could buy.
Well, what if I make a video that gets 100K views and make enough money to not have to move out of the apartment when I end the video by saying that people should go to Skillshare.com and use the code BunnyHop?
You better get on that.
Where's the Skillshare.com/dadandsonspodcast?
There's a boss you can talk to if you really want to, but you won't like what they have to say. Anyways.
Oh, no.
You hear that, everybody else?
I have asked the bosses, and I did not like what they had to say, so.
Well, I could run through a bunch of my stuff. A run through. Okay. First, Eastward. I beat Eastward, and I gotta say,
ooh,
yeah, the ending was fantastic. But
oh, you actually beat it. God,
I still don't know what happened in that game.
Oh,
that game is a mess. That game is a mess. Like, it's great. You're enjoying what's happening on the screen, but you have no idea what's going on. Like, you kind of get a sense of it. Like, it's not like you completely don't know, but you're like, why is this bum following around this little girl? Like, you just don't know a goddamn thing. Like, and I kind of like it. I kind of like it. It's not, it's not Earthbound or anything like that. I still haven't played Earthbound that much, but I don't think it's that caliber. But it was fun. It was a good time. I wanted to basically consume a media that both of you guys liked.
Ooh.
So I did Squid Game.
Yes.
And Ted Lasso.
Yes.
For Liam.
Yes.
Right? So Squid Game, fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic. The fucking flute, every time something weird is about to happen.
Oh, it's so good.
Like, it's so good. It's so fucking good. Like, I mean, there's not much to say that. You should watch that. It's like watching a continuation of like Parasite. It's just like that weird feeling when you watch Parasite. It's like, oof. It has that same vibe,
That funny feeling.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso, season 1, some of the best TV I've seen.
Yes.
Season 2, what the fuck is season 2, man?
Oh,
significantly worse. Significantly worse. I have to say, I don't enjoy it, but it's just like Nathan, Sam, like what is happening with these characters?
Yeah, I don't like what's happening with Nathan. I must admit, the second season is kind of weird at times. It really goes in a weird direction.
Yeah.
But I do still enjoy it. I feel like, I don't want to go into spoilers too much for people that haven't watched it. And George also hasn't watched it. But you see less of Ted, right? And Ted is the glue in the first season that you hold on to because he's so perfect, right?
Yeah.
But that's what the show is purposely trying to do in the second season, which is make you realize that he's kind of not real, right? Like, he's not this perfect human being, right? And then the second season gets more serious.
Well, you find that on the first one, though.
Well, you do towards the end of the first season with that amazing episode, which is the one where they go to karaoke and stuff like that. That episode is easily the best episode of the first season, I think.
Yeah.
But it starts to unravel more.
Everyone always says Ted Lasso's positive. I don't think it is. Like, this is not some Christian show, guys. Like, don't go in thinking some, like, you hear the country Christian music in the fucking intro and you're like, oh, okay, this is like some Christian. No, it's not. It's not. This is a real show. It's just a guy that's like, He rather used love
Yeah.
in order to bring a community together, make people feel happy because he feels that people perform better that way. But there is a flaw in that, and they explore that. And I think that's fantastic.
That's what I appreciated, was how real he felt.
Yeah, and there's a reason why he feels that way. Like, I don't think it's necessarily a positive show. You know,
Yeah.
He himself is a positive person, I would say, that I think will grow into a more even person. Probably the same Ted, but just a more even person. This show is great. I'm questioning season 2. I really am, because like you go from loving a show 100%.
I still have had tears at times.
Yeah, like I go from 100 loving a show to just like I'm gonna wait.
What episode are you like up to date?
I'm on 9. I stopped to wait for the last one next week. It's 11 episodes up right now. Also, Apple TV is pretty good.
So is 9 the beard episode or the
9 is the episode where the new couple is kissing at the end.
So you're actually a little behind.
Yeah, I stopped. I was like, I'm gonna wait for the last episode.
So you haven't seen the beard episode, which I thought it's so different and so mad, but I loved it. It's a great weird episode that just goes off the rails.
Yeah, they've been going off the fucking rails, man.
I really like it. But even with the second series, I think I really appreciate the show showing this character who I dearly love. I mean, I've had a lot of fondness for TV characters. I think we all have, right?
Yeah, I remember Ryoko from Tenchi Muyo.
Yeah. I remember Kamina from Gurren Lagann. But I truly loved Ted in the first season. He is such a positive force. But also the ability to show that someone can be like that and also go through some pretty intense struggles as well. And still be hard on themselves, but positive to other people.
Yeah. One of the most important things I thought it did to characterize him was show scenes where he like doubts himself in private behind closed doors around no one else. I felt like it was also trying to teach you about management techniques. Like there was some actual like research and education that went into the show's writing in terms of trying to depict how and why a real human being who doubts themselves in privates would try to put on a show of overwhelming, obnoxious positivity to everyone else to accomplish a team goal together. Like they actually might have consulted with some business managers or something for nailing those aspects of it. And
it's a very hard concept to nail.
So they're selling me real hard on season 2 of Ted Lasso. Ooh.
It's still good. It's just not what you expect, I think. For me, I'm still really enjoying it, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to finish it because I owe it to loving that first season so damn much. Yeah. It's not like how Atlanta, where the second season was weird. For me, I think the second season, I just don't agree with with some of the stuff. Like, I'm just like imagine that relationship reversed. Like, it would not work on TV. I just feel that it's just weird because the development of that relationship just doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? But maybe that's just me.
I understand what they're trying to go for in terms of like, you know, you can fall in love with someone without seeing them, right?
Yeah, but
like Liam with fictional characters.
They know what you want. They know the relationship you want.
Yeah.
Because they hinted at it and then they flip the switch immediately. And it's just like, oh, right in the heart.
They did do a little bit of hinting that it was Ted and then they don't. Yeah. And you're like, oh.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm not going to say who it is, but yeah. God, what a TV show. What a show.
It is a really good TV show. Despite me saying I really dislike it, people should watch it. They really should watch it.
Aw, I'm very happy that 2 things I suggested you've digged. Both of you checked out Ted Lasso. I appreciate it.
We kind of have the same taste most of the time.
We do in TV, I think. Yeah, for sure.
George, Bayonetta.
I can't believe that you've never sat down with a clean playthrough of Bayonetta before. I remember showing you how cool Bayonetta was on my Xbox 360, and then it red ringed midway through the first intro tutorial clock tower mash button sequence.
And I have tried to get into Bayonetta like 3 times after that, and I could not get into that. But I beat it last night before the podcast, before going to sleep.
So why couldn't you get into it last time? And what's different about this time?
It's just not my thing.
It's not a Matt game?
Like, I've played Platinum games before, but like having like a sexy character fighting, like it just seems so one-dimensional. Like it just seems so, I don't know, like it's like nothing else is going on.
And then you play it.
But the fighting, once you get into it, is really, really satisfying. I feel everyone's going to hate me when I say this, but Bayonetta is a fucking old ass game.
No, I think it's time.
And does not hold up well at
Really?
all.
Oh, I don't know about that one, though.
No.
I'm surprised.
Like the levels suck. The fighting. I just want to fight. Just let me fight because that's what's good.
Oh, you're talking about like the puzzles, the lightning switch
Bullshit.
blocks.
The walking in large hallways.
I think I know what you're talking about.
What's this big open area constantly walking? Like, you know what's great is when you become a panther and you can just fucking run through all this boring ass gray shit. Like, this is like, it looks like Metal Gear without it having some type of like, that juiciness. You know what it looks like? Old Counter-Strike. You know, but after you upload the footage to YouTube and the compression fucks up the footage a bit, that's how Bayonetta looks like. It looks like shit. Like it looks like garbage.
No,
it
man.
does. Like people look like it's been shot on an old Sony camera with all their like the flesh, the color in their skin just drawn out. Just, everything looks so dead, and I'm just like, oh my god, add some color. But the fighting is great.
I'm just like remembering the environments, and I remember these like giant, beautiful cathedrals with like reflecting pools.
That's all I remember too, but I had the same problem. I was like, oh, this is just Devil May Cry.
Yes.
It was like, this is just Devil May Cry environments.
Devil May Cry. Yeah.
And like visually interesting monster designs that like pull from the Roman cherub statues and weird abstract Old Testament descriptions of angels being wheels of eyes.
Again, you're talking about the fighting, which is the best part of the game. There is something about mashing some buttons and it automatically working and doing crazy combos, dodging everything that comes across, going into witch time, then fucking everybody up, doing some type of weave combo blow. It's
Wicked
just
weave.
That is good. The boss fights, fun.
So good.
So good.
So good.
But everything else, it's bad. Like, I don't want to play it. I don't want to do any of the puzzles. I don't want to walk in empty ass open things with random people just like ghosts walking around that have no idea what's going on. Like, it makes no sense. Like, the game makes no sense.
Because you're in purgatory and they're in regular mundanity.
But that still affects the world, though.
Yeah, because you're a divine entity. It's theological
you're trying to make sense of
concepts.
something that does not make sense.
No, the story is weird and the narrative goes all over the place, but the concept is that you are angels and demons fighting on some kind of spectral, ethereal realm that's not the same as the one people exist in, but still has influence on, the coincidences that happen. Instead of a bench getting smashed in glorious fashion because of a battle between divine and evil entities, it's a fat person sitting on a bench and it breaking at that happenstance moment. And I do remember there were a lot of dull industrial environments in the second half of the game, less so in Bayonetta 2.
They're all dull.
I don't think you can say those are dull. I will look up screenshots right now.
Please.
I will fucking
Go
do
ahead.
it.
Please.
If you Google image search for Bayonetta environments, you see pretty stuff.
Make sure it's not Bayonetta 2.
Okay, well, that one's Bayonetta 2, but Bayonetta 1 has the Vigrid. Yeah, here's
exactly.
Bayonetta 1.
You see how Bayonetta 2 looks like? Wow, that is significantly better.
Bayonetta 2 has this like beautiful Byzantine cathedral on top of a reflecting pool. Bayonetta 1 has like a beautiful Catholic cathedral in the middle of a beautiful forest.
Look at the colors, George.
The colors, I must admit, I don't like the colors. It's very beige.
Guys, this is good for me because as you'll recall, I don't see the same colors.
Oh, yeah.
you guys do.
Oh, shit. I always forget that. Fucking hell. So it doesn't matter to you.
So I literally am not seeing the same dullness that you are.
I'm seeing like gears of war mud.
Yes, exactly. That is exactly what it is. It's like playing Gears of War 1.
I'm an absolute Bayonetta apologist. I love Bayonetta so much, especially the original. One of my favorite games. But yeah, I'm watching the original trailer and I remember a lot of the colors were very muted. Bayonetta herself is fucking cool as shit, all hell, right?
Yes.
It's one of the more colorful games of the brown and bloom PS3 era of that like 2008, right? Wasn't that when it came out?
Well, actually, wait, because the PS3 version of Bayonetta was very, very bad. So
around that time when HDR effects were getting big, like game developers would get way too intense with the color grading. I remember Metal Gear Solid 4 definitely looking dull and brown.
Whoa.
Does take place in a desert.
Metal Gear 4 did not look dull.
Yeah, no, Metal Gear Solid 4 looked dull. I will look up screenshots. I'll fucking do it.
You're color blind, George.
Damn, the original trailer had Going In for the Kill, which is a banging song by LaRue. They had some good music and they have Fly Me to the Moon for Bayonetta 1 or Bayonetta 2? Bayonetta 1, I think.
For people who have an emotional attachment to Bayonetta because, you know, they played it when they were young and they jacked off in the fucking bathroom while their mom was making breakfast.
Nah.
Okay, I like the game. Okay, I like the game.
No, you're insulting an oppressed minority.
I like the game.
I love the game, and I'm just glad that you like the combat and that the combat still holds up because it's amazing.
Yeah, the combat is fun. The combat is great. I mean, that's what Platinum does, right?
Yeah.
I think they get better, though. I think Bayonetta is lower on the Platinum spectrum there, for sure, because I think this is like the beginning of them becoming like great, right? Like I remember playing Nier Auto Tomato. That was fun. Even though the story's nonsense.
Yeah, but not as fun as Bayonetta.
Not as fun as Bayonetta, no. But it's a later game, though, so I understand that. So it's nice to play a game where they started from. What was their first game? Was it Vanquish? Which one was it?
No, Bayonetta came before Vanquish.
Yeah.
You got to remember they were Clover. They came out of Clover Studios, right?
Clover.
Mad World. Mad World was technically their first.
That was not before Bayonetta.
Let's see. March 10, 2009 was Mad World.
Really? That was before Bayonetta 2010?
By a couple months. But okay, by like 7 months. But
wow.
It was half a year before Bayonetta was Mad World.
Yeah, Mad World.
Yeah, I do remember the Mad World, the Wii game that was all black and white and had you shaking the controllers to kill people.
I liked Mad World a lot.
Yeah.
It was great. And then Anarchy Reigns, I actually also kind of enjoyed Anarchy Reigns as well. It's short-lived life.
Metal Gear Rising.
Yeah, Metal Gear Rising.
That was great.
Bayonetta 2.
But Matt, what about like the characters in the dialogue and the acting and the motion captures?
I think it starts off pretty strong and wacky because I kind of like how stereotypical the characters are. They're pretty funny. And I think it gets better because it gets a dip because it's just Bayonetta by herself. And it's just Bayonetta by herself is not quite as good as Bayonetta with other people, I gotta say.
Yeah, she has the coolest friends.
Yeah. Like when she meets the little girl, like I feel like when she meets the little girl, she's grounded in reality because she's just like this character that just likes to be sexual, right? Like she loves her body, blah, 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 blah. You know, like, I don't know, maybe I'm adding a little bit too much to her character, right?
It's a little cameos thing.
Yeah. So she's grounded in reality when she meets the little girl and it makes her seem human almost. Because before then, it's just like she's just going around like doing weird shit, you know? Like that's when I started to kind of enjoy it a little bit more. Especially because you turn into a panther like right after that. Because I didn't have to look at the stages anymore. Because the panther is the best upgrade in the fucking game. Because you get to run fast through like boss fights and everything like that. And it's super fun. Like dodge out of Panther, get back into Panther is satisfying as fuck. And then going to Panther mid combo to go around people and do super fucking fun. The gameplay is fantastic. Combat is fantastic.
It's so good.
Just the world and stuff like that. And yeah, I would say there's a dip in, a couple hours in and then it goes right up. And I played it straight through after that. Took me, like 8 hours? That's not bad. It's pretty good. I think it was definitely worth a playthrough. I'm not gonna say it was not a bad experience or anything like that, but it was a mixed bag.
What is it? 11 years old now? Yeah.
Yeah, it's old. It's old. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's old. It doesn't hold up. That's it. It doesn't hold up in that aspect because there's Devil May Cry did stuff like that too back in the day, where you have to like do combos to unlock shit. Like, what the fuck? let me just walk, do other cool shit, you know? But yeah.
I don't know anymore.
This is an unnecessary roadblock over and over and over again.
I think it's fair to criticize something that came out at a certain era. I think if we look back at a lot of games from that point, is that 360 era, the PS3 era, was a lot of brown, a lot of tinge,
A lot of brown.
a lot of brown.
Even Gears of War, one of my favorite games.
Yeah, I mean they were the kings of it.
Yeah, they're the kings of shitty ass looking games. But I love that shit.
I wouldn't go that far, but the colors were very muted.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, by shitty, do you mean low quality or do you mean fecal matter?
I mean, sorry, the colors. Sorry. The colors were shitty. I love those games. Come on now.
Because it definitely has a brownish color scheme. Sometimes there's some bright green thrown in.
I still have muscle memory for playing Gears of War. Ooh.
I'm super glad you played Bayonetta, though. It's like one of those things that I would highly recommend anybody to play, because I do feel like the gameplay, the core gameplay of that game is timeless. It feels still so good. And one of the things that's so impressive about Bayonetta 2 is the animations are like the next step up, but they're fucking sick as hell. Which was kind of one of the things I was disappointed about the Bayonetta 3 trailer that just came out with the Nintendo Direct from last week that we didn't get a chance to talk about, is that it kind of looked similarly dull. Like, this is weird because I don't want to nag on Bayonetta because I love it, but Bayonetta 3 looked kind of dull in terms of the environments, all Shibuya.
What about Bayonetta 2? Is Bayonetta 2 good, George?
Bayonetta 2 is great.
Yeah? Okay.
My only problem with Bayonetta 2 is I don't like Bayonetta's haircut in Bayonetta 2. I prefer the way she looks in 1 with the long hair.
The short bub,
Yeah. So that's my only problem with Bayonetta 2. I think it's a brilliant game.
So Bayonetta 2 has like that intro scene and it's supposed to be New York City, it looks like. I just don't understand how you can say the environments are dull. Like,
so good.
It's because you can't see it, George.
it begins with you on top of a clock tower falling through space and time.
It's funny you mention that because that's like the coolest part right there is that.
I definitely remember the second half.
But there's no more of that, George. It's only like spamming A to jump from things to one thing to another thing to another thing. I want to fight on a falling piece of rock again, but you never do that again, which kind of sucks.
The only dull level I remember is the crashed airplane and how the hallways are metal corridors. Like, I even remember like the evil corporation tower at the end still looking like kind of fun and sleek and shiny. And maybe my color blindness is a blessing and not a curse after all. Yo, okay, so this is not about games. This is tangential, but I had a ceiling fall on me one time in one of those old shitty houses.
Wait,
because the pipes were not rated for freezing temperatures. And the city of Atlanta had its like 1 or 2 days of freezing weather that year. And the people who were living there didn't drip their faucets out, because apparently that's something you got to do in an old shitty house that has old shitty pipes, is drip the faucets during freezing weather. And so the pipes clogged up and burst. And while I was trying to work on them, the panel of ceiling drywall soaked up some water and fell on top of me.
Yeah.
What?
So, like, that's the kind of stuff that can happen to you in old shitty houses that are still millions of dollars on the market right now.
Jesus Christ. What the hell?
Yeah, no, I don't want that.
Very importantly, though, we need to break the sad news, though, Matt.
What? What's the sad news?
That people might get excited at hearing that news for historical reasons, right? The roommate sagas of the past.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The hunting apartments and the strange people that you've met.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, we got to break the sad news, right?
I'm not going to have a roommate, guys. I'm going to be by myself. I welcome it, is what I'm used to, and I miss it so much. Oh my God, just to walk out in your fucking boxers, dude.
Yeah, I think it's different if you live with someone who you aren't friends with, right? It's not like you're not friends with your housemate, but you didn't choose it, right? You live there out of necessity, right? I think that's a bit different because technically you are living alone. It's just that someone is in your space.
Yeah.
because you don't occupy the same space as them in terms of friendship or whatever.
I got rid of the roommate in 2017, and the first couple of years were nice, and then the pandemic hit, and then I broke up with my girlfriend, and now it's the fucking worst being here alone. Well, I don't know. Eddie's here now, but before then, it was the fucking worst.
Which is why a lot of people get dogs.
Between the girlfriend breakup and the dog, it was the fucking worst living in even a tiny apartment by myself.
There's something freeing about it. There's something like being able to do what want
absolutely.
when I want. I can wake up at 2 a.m. and make me a shake. Like I can just do whatever the fuck I want. Like
Yes.
I miss that shit.
You can be the naked housemate this time.
Yes, exactly.
But if the rest of your life is like in a shitty place, it will feel worse. It's all balancing and lifestyle choices and habits.
Which is why I'm thinking of like renting instead of buying, and renting like a decent place, not something too expensive, but not something, well, not too expensive here in California. Trust me, there's more expensive apartments, but just something nice that just in case something happens next year, something could happen. And I'd be like, all right, I want to move, and I could just cut the lease and move.
Yeah.
Those historical houses are so shit. You know what? Actually, I think that was the difference with the Japanese housing market versus the Western one, is that they don't appreciate the value of old shitty houses.
Well, Japan has a very serious problem right now in regards to the fact that they have just so many abandoned houses, right? Like old machiya houses. There's like, I don't know, tons of programs to get people to buy like derelict or like, run down old machiyas where...
Oh, there's such shitty houses for so much money.
Yeah, but in Japan, they're not. That you can buy them for like $20,000.
That's how it should work. If you buy an old shitty game, it's cheap. But if you buy an old shitty house, it's millions of dollars.
Well, it depends if it's rare, right? So the thing is, and a lot of people are doing this now, if you have the money to be able to renovate and stuff, because of course you're going to have to do that. You can't just move into a $20,000 machiya because you'll die in the winter and you'll die in the summer because you'll have no aircon and you'll have no ability to heat yourself and you'll just have insects everywhere. But, there are some prime spots, especially here in Kyoto, where there are abandoned houses in like areas that cost a lot of fucking money. So you can buy one of these things for, $20,000 or whatever. And if you've got the money to renovate it, which probably is, especially because the size isn't that big in Japan, but you've got to adhere to some very strict regulations because it is Kyoto. You could probably make yourself a really nice house and a really, really prime spot.
How much would that cost?
Let's say it costs $250,000 to renovate fully to make it into a nice house, but you will have only paid $270,000 total, and you will have a house that probably will go up to at least $500,000 to $750,000, being in one of the heaviest tourist places of the world in a prime spot.
Yeah.
Why aren't people doing that? People are not into real estate over there?
Not really. There isn't that kind of affluent wealth in Japan. There isn't the ability to do that, right? Really. And also you've got to realize that these houses are abandoned because the family hasn't taken them over or the family line has ended with whoever was there last. And a lot of the times, people already have houses. There's a lot of these houses tend to be houses that get passed through generations. Like that's still a thing in Japan. But now we have, people move away and, the house gets left and people just don't want to deal with it. And also, especially in a place like Kyoto, which is so historical and so regulated, it would be a trial, to go through. Like, I have a friend, Jake Kasdal, who runs 17-Bit Studios, the guys who made Galaxy. His wife is Japanese. He's been in Kyoto a long time. He knows a lot about Japan, speaks Japanese. He's been trying to build his house. Oh, he has built his house where they bought one of these matches, or they bought the land and they knocked it down completely and just built it from scratch. But the problem is doing that meant that they had like very strict regulations that they had to adhere to. And I think there was one instance, it's probably not my business to say, but there was one instance where they put a fence post 10 centimeters over in the wrong direction to someone else's thing, built like, a trench or whatever to put these fence posts. And then the council immediately came and was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is 10 centimeters off your land in someone else's land. You cannot do that. And they had to fix it. It cost like $10,000 to rectify this one mistake that was like 10 centimeters over. It's like that strict. So even though they have programs to encourage people to do it.
You can say fuck in Japan? Japanese? Yeah, there's no colorful language in Japanese, right? They're all nice people.
Oh, there is. There is. Especially when you're not in the room. That fucking gaijin.
Yeah.
But, if you had the time and the money, or you had the money and you paid someone's time to do it, you could easily set yourself up quite nicely. If you were rich and you wanted to have a second home in Japan, maybe that'd be a possibility. But there are programs now.
George, you want to go halvesies?
No.
George,
It's those double income tax.
Oh, yeah. Americans have to pay tax back even if you live in Japan.
Oh,
forgot
my
about
God.
that.
I fucking hate America, man. God, man.
Well, I think you can get out of that by like rescinding your citizenship back to the store.
No, that sounds bad.
Well, you're not going to become a Japanese citizen anytime soon. So you'd have to spend 10 to 15 years first before
Jesus
you're able to do that.
Christ.
Yeah, wherever you rolled the lottery to be born of significantly impacts how much money you can spend on a house when you're an adult.
I think we rolled the dice pretty well.
We were talking about Bayonetta, and video games.
Yeah,
now
we
we're
were.
talking about the housing market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
It's that stage of dad life.
Yeah, it is.
You reminisce about a game, and then it turns out that game maybe wasn't as bright and colorful as you once
Oh,
imagined.
fuck off. Bayonetta's fantastic. She still looks as good as she did when we were in love, okay?
Exactly my
She
point.
looks
Oh
great.
my God.
She hasn't aged. She has not aged.
She looks great. I mean, they spent all the time on her. They didn't spend any time on the world design at all.
No, it
It's
has
it's like they
beautiful-
clicked and dragged the triangle and rectangles, and they just dragged it
No.
across the whole screen.
Okay,
All
for the
right,
second,
all right.
the second half, there are some industrial levels, but I feel like it's kind of tapping into that Dark Souls energy of like Japanese people thinking that Western cathedrals are cool as shit and going really exaggerated with the architecture. The beginning of both Bayonetta games, I think, has some beautiful environment art.
It's like,
It's rather generic. It's very Japanese video game generic. You know, it is definitely like that though.
I'm gonna eventually have to buy it on the Switch.
A Wii U.
A Switch?
Yeah, a Wii U.
Oh yeah,
Switch.
yeah.
No,
'cause,
Wii U. No,
they
a
dusted
Wii U.
off.
Seriously? No, it's on the Switch. It's on the Switch.
Everything's ported to the Switch now at this point. There's the dream is dead.
It's on the Switch.
Is Bayonetta 2 on Switch?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
on
okay,
Switch.
okay.
I think
All
they
right.
all are at this
Yeah.
point.
Good.
Yeah, no,
Good.
I'm not getting no
Sorry,
Wii
yeah,
U.
you can buy the double pack.
Also,
Yeah.
they're on PC too, so you don't need
Wait, no, they're
any
not.
of that plastic.
Bayonetta
Uh-huh.
2 is not.
Bayonetta 2 is
The
not.
Bayonetta 1 is, and the best version of Bayonetta 1 is the PC version.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's one I played, but Bayonetta 2 is. I don't think it's gonna come to PC because it's like a Nintendo exclusive thing, right?
Does Bayonetta 2 get on the Switch? Does it get the amazing costumes that are the Nintendo themed ones for Bayonetta 2? Do you still get
I
them?
don't think so.
You get a Star Fox one, you get a Peach one, you get a Toad one, you get a Mario
played
one,
with
you
the
get a
Link
Luigi
one.
one, you get a Link one. They're all really good.
Yeah, they're on the Switch versions. I just looked it
Good,
up on
good,
the
good, good.
Bayonetta
That's good.
fan wiki.
Yeah, they're really good. Especially the Star Fox one where you get R wings on your feet. It's amazing. And then the flying section turns into an R wing. So cool.
Is Bayonetta 2 better than 1?
I think they're about on par with each other. I think they're pretty similar games, all things considered.
I would probably say I think Bayonetta 2 is the better game,
would hope
but
so.
I was obsessed with Bayonetta 1.
Okay.
So
A lot of boys were obsessed with Bayonetta.
Yeah, I feel like the second half holds up stronger in Bayonetta 2.
but Bayonetta 2 has a repeat boss fight that can be a bit annoying. I don't like when games do that.
But I also want to point out that however cool you think those Nintendo costumes are, they do not compete with playing Bayonetta at an unlocked frame rate for all
That's true.
the lauding you were giving of the animation and how smooth and crisp the combat feels.
Oh,
That game is
no.
old enough and they optimized it well enough to where, like, when I was doing my PC playthrough, I swear it was locked at 140 fucking 4 frames a second for the whole way through. And that game is
Yeah, it's smooth.
it feels so good. It's designed to be really smooth and flowy in the first place, and when you unlock the frame rate, it definitely feels worth waiting a few years for a cheaper version to come out on PC to iron out all the kinks.
Which is why I wait for a lot of stuff to come out on PC, man. Damn. I've become a PC snob when I wasn't at all. Just slowly. It's like, Persona 5, Bloodborne. I would love to have it on PC.
Yeah,
Good
Persona 5 has a better chance of coming to PC than Bloodborne.
Bloodborne, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I might as well just beat Bloodborne now. I'm almost done.
God, what a game. What great games we're talking about.
Yeah.
Good fucking video games.
Bloodborne is definitely a good game. It's stressful, but it's definitely a good game. Very fucking stressful.
Bayonetta 3 is now back in the news again. There were trailers that came out during the direct.
Is it spoilery?
A few days ago.
Watch it. Yeah.
No. She just does a dance in the middle of a fight for no reason and starts.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed by the trailer, if I'm entirely honest. But I'm just happy that Bayonetta 3 still exists. I already knew that, but it does. So.
They had a teaser that was just a logo and nothing else, and they put that out like 2.5 years ago.
Bayonetta 3's been fine for a while.
There were worries that it was caught up in some kind of development hell problem because it was so long ago since the first teaser announcement. But yeah, Bayonetta 3's fine.
I think if I was a gambling man who may have insider trading information, it would be the fact that they have this big new game that's a live service game with Square Enix that kind of took precedent at the studio.
Bayonetta's an actual good game.
Well, I don't know, because we haven't played Babylon's Fall yet, have we? But, that's looks like to be their big hot live service ticket that I think probably took a lot of the studio's time.
I'm new. Like, I'm not like some super hardcore Bayonetta fan. But like, wouldn't it be great to have Bayonetta 3 come out on PC looking like Nier? Wouldn't that be like amazing?
Yes, but it's a Nintendo exclusive, isn't it? So
it wouldn't exist without Nintendo. So yeah.
Well, that's what Kamiya keeps saying, isn't it? I mean, that's what they said about Bayonetta 2. They literally said it wouldn't exist without Nintendo. So
because people didn't buy these games, even though they're the best game ever.
Then that's why sometimes
totally
you have
wrong.
to pay $60 for a good video game.
Yeah.
And
sometimes.
They didn't market them either. Like, what can you expect at that point?
Because they had no budget to market it. It costs enough to make the bloody thing in the first place.
Understand. But they're popular, aren't they? Am I missing something? Like Nier,
they're
though.
cultish.
Nier is like super fucking popular.
Nier is more popular than Bayonetta. Somehow, some way.
Easily.
Of course, Nier is more popular. She has. Forget it. Forget it. Like literally, they sell games a certain way. But yeah, that's weird.
By the costumes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I'm like, because then Soul Calibur would be way more popular.
Nier Automata sold 5 million. That's crazy. That's a lot.
And it's
of
a real
copies.
fluke. Like Nier the original didn't sell. It's famously a cult classic undersold game. Nier Automata was a huge success, and I don't think anyone really knows why.
No, I don't know why.
Good video game, I guess.
Yeah.
And also the story, and also what Matt was talking about.
Yes, exactly. You know why it was popular. Because little boys get to play it. It's the same way Bayonetta was so popular back then. It's the same thing.
Bayonetta is popular because of a refined, smooth combat and fascinating, over-the-top humor.
But no, sex still sells in 2021. Like, it still sells. So, people, there's still little boys in the bathrooms while their mom is making oatmeal, and toast.
There comes a time in every man's life where you might be a little ashamed about the time and the place where you felt the urge to reminisce on your favorite memories of Bayonetta.
Oh my god. Every time you reach the climax and you have to press Y and B together.
Yeah, the attack is literally called the climax.
Yeah. and she strips completely naked. Yeah, it's great.
She
Great
has
touch.
her little hair censorship, and it's
such a weird game.
But it's also like, owning it in a honest, like positive, fun way that, the Nier games do as well. But Bayonetta has way better combat and way more fun characters.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
I mean,
I would say so.
if we have to get into a waifu war, I know who I'm picking.
Oh my God. So, this is, you guys are cutting into my New World time. So I'm going to need you guys to wrap it up. Well,
actually, I wanted to ask you if you are still feeling tempted to cross the picket line, so to speak, and pick up Diablo 2 Resurrected. Because there's some interesting soul searching going on in the reviews and reception of that game. A lot of people are wondering if that's really what they wanted. It's out. It has a Metacritic score of 82, which is fine, but
strong.
kind of on the low end of fine.
For Blizzard, yeah.
With Liam, the review scores are always strong if it's an 8 or above.
I didn't see any video reviews, though. Where are the video reviews? No one has reviewed it.
I think we know that answer.
Why? What's the answer? Because I couldn't figure it out.
Don't touch potentially hot coals at the moment. Big outlets who are at the same time reporting crossing the picket line.
Oh, because of the bullshit. Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. Destructoid didn't care because Destructoid released a review.
Of the reviews that exist, there seems to be a kind of interesting moment going on where people are like, yeah, it's a 20-year-old game with updated graphics, but is that really what we wanted all along? I've heard it be referred to as soul searching, of simultaneously reckoning with how old and like maybe what you were kind of doing with Bayonetta, of having a reckoning with how old games sometimes do not age well, and also having to reckon with all the baggage of the lawsuits and the company and the woman committed suicide. But
I said I wasn't gonna play it, so I saw it came out and I was like, okay.
Stuck with his virtues like a good boy.
Yeah, I tried to look at a review, no reviews, and I was like, that's not a good sign. And I just moved on with my life. Because like really, I'm a huge fan of this action RPG genre. Like, I mean,
oh yeah, you got into Path of Exile. That was your Hunt Showdown for a little while.
That game I can play now. I can play that all the time. That is a game that is just super fascinating to me, and there's always something to learn. And I'm still a fucking noob at that game. I'm still looking up guys who are trying to figure out what's new and what they have changed, because they do all these huge long changes with all these freaking gemstones. Like, it's just ridiculous.
1,000-hour long, never-ending game that you'll never get good at, that you want to get good at so bad.
Exactly.
Fuck.
Yeah, there's always going to be someone higher on the leaderboards. It's always.
That's not going to be a good thing in the long term. Games like tapping into weird addictive vulnerabilities like that.
I've actually put it under control, which is actually not that. I used to be really bad with being addicted to some of these things, man. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure when I'm going to play New World, I'm like, I'm going to enjoy this game, but I'm going to go work out now, I think I have control.
Exercise, talk to girls.
Well, talk to anybody, really. Being social in general is just like a little, George, it's healthy, because you kind of need it sometimes.
Yeah, our brains are built to be wandering around with the pack all day and not sitting in an apartment by ourselves all day.
I do like being by I'm like half of each, introvert, extrovert.
I just wanted to bring up a little bit of on the line of childhood nostalgia being exploited through addictive marketing practices, commercial practices. A Hot Wheels game came out, kind of blindsided me from nowhere, and ended up getting a 9 out of 10 from IGN and some other publications. Other publications were giving this game some 7 out of 10s. The reviews over Hot Wheels Unleashed are divisive. And it seems like the line gets drawn on how much childhood nostalgia you have for Hot Wheels toys as a kid, plus how tolerant you are of a loot box microtransaction grind going on. Because other than that, this game looks like a really, really fun F-Zero style super duper fast arcade racer. But the 9 out of 10s and 7 out of 10s are drawn on that line of whether or not you have childhood nostalgia for the thing and how willing you are to put up with the potentially addicting unlocking loop, a potentially exploitive unlocking loop.
It did look pretty.
It looks gorgeous. It looks fast. It looks fun. It looks legitimately fun. I'm actually tempted to try this stupid thing out.
So what are some of the comments in terms of, is it just specifically about the tolerance for the loot box stuff?
Well, the thing is that when you unlock a new car, you either have to win a race, I think at a certain difficulty level or above, or roll a random loot box unlock. Like you don't get to pick the thing that you are unlocking, and that rubbed a lot of publications the wrong way, even though there are these really, really solid arcade racing mechanics and environments and cars absolutely made with like a love for the original line of toys, and also something that looks like it would really scratch my F-Zero itch that has been going on for years.
Ooh, a DeLorean.
A big 9 from IGN though.
Right. I mean, people will talk shit about how inconsistent review scores are regardless, but you can't like overlook something like that.
This does look hella fun.
Yeah, it looks really smooth.
When a 9 out of 10 from IGN is the outlier, that means there's probably some sort of way to legitimately enjoy the product at hand, depending on how your childhood determined your adult preferences.
This looks great, though. I mean, the game itself looks really good.
Yeah, it looks smooth. Yeah.
Right. And you rarely see, like, kids licensed toy games look that good. The SpongeBob Nickelodeon All-Stars Battle Brawl game looks fun to play, but the graphics are like generations behind the times, whereas this looks like some next gen cutting edge tech demo Hot Wheels game.
God, I missed. Do you remember Micro Machines? Was it Micro Machines V3 on the PS1?
Oh, you're talking about the video game. I thought you were talking about like the intense competition on the market between Hot Wheels and Micro Machines.
I mean, Hot Wheels was always the winner. I mean, considering that pretty much the only ones who exist.
I am surprised to see that the Perfect Dark game is being worked on.
Oh, interesting.
And in a few years, we have a developer, Crystal Dynamics and the Initiative, who I think were actually formed by old Crystal Dynamics veterans who made a spin-off studio that was doing contract work since then. The
Initiative are a publisher, I think.
Are they? They're new. They don't have a lot.
Yeah.
It's weird to
I think they're a part
nail
of
down what they are.
What are they called? Private Division, I think they're called.
An American video game development company is what Wikipedia says.
Oh, fair enough.
The company was founded in 2018 to build quadruple A games for the Xbox consoles and Windows. Now working on a new installment. And fucking quadruple A Perfect Dark reboot. Okay, if we're playing games starring sexy ladies in skin tight outfits, apparently that's going to be the next trend. I guess that's what everyone wants these days, to cool them off from all the existential angst of living through the pandemic Trump eras. But let's talk about the real fun news that happened this week, the one that everyone has some kind of hot take on, and also something that's like impossible not to just have a nice, fun little laugh over. I'm so glad that this happened and that I get to talk with you guys. The cast for the animated Mario movie has been announced, and every single choice is a hilarious joke.
Some of these are amazing.
Starting from most to least important characters, we have fucking Chris Pratt as Mario. Woo, yeah.
Oh boy.
I don't want to never say never, because I think what's happening here is that he did a lot of voice work and a lot of solid, good voice work for the Lego movies.
He was great in that movie, to be honest. But was he an Italian plumber that we all love and adore? I do not think so.
Can he? I don't know. Never say never, right? He posted an Instagram update that is where he looks absolutely exhausted at the camera and says, it's blowing my mind that, like, when I was a kid, I was playing the Super Mario Brothers arcade game before the console, back in my laundromat with mom, and now I'm voicing the character. And then he says, but I feel like I might be stealing someone else's dream. And then at the end of the Instagram post, he says, but it's me, Mario. By the way, that's not the actual voice. We worked really hard on the voice. You'll have to wait and see the movie to hear the real voice. Like, he, on top of him being not everyone's obvious first choice on the bracket, he actually has said the words, it's a me, Mario, not in the voice, but in a way that sounded very, very exhausted and tired. But regardless, he still seems excited for the movie. There is apparently baggage associated with him and his anti-LGBT church, according to some rumors. Other rumors have displaced them. But I mean, in terms of like offensive Hollywood characters, Chris Pratt, I don't think has gotten in big trouble.
There's always fucking something, isn't there?
There's always fucking something. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think Chris Pratt was trafficking minors into sex rings or anything.
How can you be in Guardians of the Galaxy and then be part of some stupid ass church? Like, okay.
Well, he said that his church is welcoming to people of all kinds, but that's he said, she said.
What the fuck?
I think when you get down to the brass tacks of like what actually passes the standards of journalistic rigor, the controversies and baggages associated with Chris Pratt, I don't think they've crossed that line yet. Anyways, yeah, Chris Pratt, I feel, could go either way. In any case, it's a hilarious, controversial choice in the short term. Wait and see to see what we get. But I fucking love Charlie Day as Luigi. Charlie Day as Luigi is already tickling me pink. When I close my eyes and visualize the kind of scenarios, I imagine a panicked Luigi waving his arms around in some sort of high-pitched squeal, whining about how he's underappreciated and does all the work of the brothers, and having the unsung janitorial hero of Patty's Pub take a role like that is like brilliant. Like, I feel like whoever made that choice had a better vision for what kind of character and personality should be associated with the movie version of Luigi than anything I was able to picture up. Oh, yeah, that's another thing, is that this is going to be movie versions of the characters. So Charles Martinet's typical classic definitive Mario voice of being like, hey, it's me, Mario, let's make some pizza and pasta, yahoo, yippee. That might not work for a whole 90 minutes of a more dialogue-driven Mario, so maybe that's why they went with Chris Pratt. They've also
but wouldn't it have been funnier? Wouldn't it have been funnier to have every character in the movie be voiced by these famous superstars, and then the main character just be Mario in Charles Martinet, just being like, woohoo!
I think that would be fine. I think that would be like the default vanilla safe choice that people were expecting out of this. Like so Charles Martinet is going to be in here at some point. He is credited as special cameos. My Miyamoto has said he'll be involved. The Twitter account said that he has special cameos. So it's not like they totally snubbed him and deleted him. I think this was a strategic choice based on them doing tests and deciding whose voice audiences would rather listen to for 90 minutes if Mario turns out to be a dialogue-driven character at all. Charlie Day as Luigi is such a strong fucking choice, and the character and the humor behind him would nail this joke down so well that I almost would not be surprised. I want to bet 25 cents on maybe this actually being the sort of situation where everyone will come out of it thinking Luigi stole the show. Like, maybe Luigi will have a lot of screen time and be the secret hero of the story, and they'll stealth release it as a grand Metal Gear Solid 2 style bait and switch of Luigi actually being the main character.
I think Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is like my favorite. Is my favorite.
Yes!
Just hearing his laugh, if they're gonna have his laugh. Him trying to do a Donkey Kong voice is gonna be fucking great.
That's another one that's just like, how?
What up, Mario?
How were they like clever enough to come up with that? Because it's such a good choice.
Yeah.
Like I can so easily visualize a chill stoner Donkey Kong just like cracking some silly jokes while swinging in his hammock, and then absolutely going ape shit and reacting very, very harshly in classic Rogan-esque fashion when King K. Rool comes to steal all his bananas. Yeah. Seth Rogen, he was even wearing the Donkey Kong colors in the headshot they chose. For the headshot, they went with Chris Pratt. It's like very muted, almost black and white colors. But for Seth Rogen, like it's almost Seth Rogen in a Donkey Kong costume. I'll send you guys a picture on the Discord and post it in the description.
I think the only one that I'm weirded out by is Chris Pratt being Mario. Everything else,
that is
the one, right?
Mm-hmm,
everything else is fine. Like Jack Black as Bowser is gonna be fun.
That's gonna be so good. That is gonna be
Keegan-Michael Key.
I am so much more excited.
That's gonna be fun. Like
that one is so weird.
Yeah, it's weird, and
but
it's gonna be fun.
Still makes sense.
Hey, what up, Mario?
Yeah,
well, but Toad is like famous for high-pitched exasperation, and there's a lot of really funny Key and Peele sketches where he does that. Yeah.
I've watched all this. It's gonna be good.
The actress for Peach is kind of an unknown at the moment. I think
it's Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, you watched Queen's Gambit, right?
Of course.
I watched some of it. Yeah, she's hot shit.
Who is she? How is she? Is she
really
funny?
good? She's really good.
She's a good actress. Who knows yet whether she can be Peach?
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that they be funny about it. And this cast list has me thinking that like they're going hard comedy with this. Like this is an extremely funny list of people who have an extremely funny choice of roles.
Can we talk about how funny it is that we had a Nintendo Direct and just halfway through it, Miyamoto was like, "Hey, what up, motherfuckers? Here's the cast list for my Mario movie." And he just came in, interrupted the thing, and was like, "Look, Chris Pratt is Mario, Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong, Jack Black is Bowser. See ya, I'm out of here." And then just left.
Yeah, you definitely got to lead with Chris Pratt and then hit him with the whole, Charlie Day and Jack Black, and Anya. Like
I already am picturing Bowser showing up with a guitar, flames behind him with giant Mad Max Fury Road style amplifiers.
Shit.
Imagine Mario and Luigi walking into a scary haunted house. Luigi's waving his arms around going, Mario, I'm telling you, this house is haunted. What do you mean this house is haunted? We saw ghouls, we saw goblins, there's night crawlers, and I'm going to have to clean them up, ain't I? Suddenly Bowser crashes through the walls, flames behind him, and goes, pesky plumbers! Knocking at my door! I'll throw some balls at you and call you a whore! Jack Black Bowser sounds fun. That sounds so fun.
Wait, does this mean this leads us to understand that Miyamoto has watched Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
He's had to.
I wonder who I would love to know what the behind the scenes decision making was like. Yeah, like the other thing is that these actors are from edgy adult stuff. Like it's they are famous for things that are not for kids. I don't know. Teenagers always get into Tenacious D at some point, but it's still like, not Nintendo level of family friendly childhood nostalgia quality entertainment. But man, I have high hopes, and I didn't think I would. Like this actually jumped my hopes up way high. I thought they were going to be as like generic and lazy as they are with like a Minions or Despicable Me situation. It's the same company. It's Illumination. They're like McDonald's. They're not bad, but they're generic. They're safe, you know? And this seems like they want to make a hilarious, edgy comedy out of Mario, which fits the RPG games, kinda.
I wonder what they're gonna do. There's two ways they can do this. We all know Peach is not gonna get kidnapped. We all know it's 2021. It's not gonna happen. But
maybe there'll be a twist at the end.
I think like Bowser being the evil guy could switch though. There could be another evil thing. I think they might go that way.
Like Donkey Kong. Maybe that's why Donkey Kong is on the list.
I don't think Seth
he's the one
Rogen
who
is an evil
kidnaps
character.
first, and then
Okay. I don't think he has it in him to be evil.
No, he's like the character you meet halfway through the movie, and he's like, "Hey, what up, Mario?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta go that way." Like, and then they chill out in like the jungles or something for a bit.
Yeah, he's gonna be high. Donkey Kong is gonna be high.
What I'm gonna throw out that I
bananas.
bet there's like the Mushroom Kingdom is like a city, and it's like a metropolitan city. You know, just like how they did it in Detective Pikachu and the Lego
Donk
movie.
City.
It's gonna be like it's gonna be like New Donk City or something. They always have to start out in cities for some reason. And they're not gonna have like the Mushroom Kingdom, the barren Mushroom Kingdom. Probably have like some sort of Toad Society or something.
the good things I think about the Mushroom Kingdom and the Mario brand in general, especially compared to when they were making the 1993 movie with Bob Hoskins, when they released the Jinkle Cut. Anyways, there's like no rules. Like the idea of people getting offended at the sanctity of a movie disrespecting Mario lore is hilarious. It's so much funnier to think of now than in 1993. And back in 1993, there wasn't this huge library of writing-heavy RPG games based on Mario that have good writing and good humor that they can also mine for this movie as well. Nowadays, Mario is just like, it's pure surrealism. Mario can do anything and go anywhere and crack any kind of jokes they want. If it's an edgy joke for adults, they'll make it in a way that's innuendo enough so that it'll sail over the kids' heads, but in a like clever way that's funny for the adults. I think it's a totally different time than the 90s. We've had Detective Pikachu that was good. We had Sonic that was decent. And Mortal Kombat, they made a new Mortal Kombat movie that you guys didn't want to talk about. But I thought it was at least okay. Mario as a property in the place it's in right now is so flippant about continuity and lore that I think they could make a really, really fun comedy out of this. There would not need to be action driving this thing. It would be straight up cartooning.
Detective Pikachu, Free Guy.
Oh yeah, Free Guy. You guys liked Free Guy, right?
It's just enjoyable movies. So I have high hopes, man. It's going to be a good time, I think.
I actually do have high hopes. I mean, I feel like it's pretty blasphemous, but at the same time, I'm kind of like,
Who gives a fuck?
this could be good.
Yeah.
This could, I mean, I liked Detective Pikachu quite a fair bit. So, and Ryan Reynolds' Pikachu blew our minds at the time, but it fucking worked. So, Chris Pratt, I can give and take. It doesn't really matter. But everybody else is like pretty fucking banging.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Mario's just not going to talk that much, if he'll just have a few lines and the rest will be like Charlie Chaplin, Mr. Bean style miming and body humor.
I don't think so. I think they're going to talk. I think they might talk.
It's going to be a buddy comedy between Mario and Luigi, and it's going to be Charlie Day and Chris Pratt bouncing off each other, which I think could be pretty good.
Yeah, and they did that in the Mario movies. In the Lego movies. Chris Pratt and Charlie Day have that degree of chemistry to each other. Yeah, they did work together on the Lego movies.
Nice.
Oh, that could be good. That could be really good.
Benny from the Lego Movies, starring Benny from the Lego Movies.
It's a lot of weird choices. It's a lot of hilarious choices, strange choices. But when you think about them and look some stuff up, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a ton of sense.
It's also, there are people who have done animation before who are powerful Hollywood names. And, Mario has to shake, unfortunately, the fact that a Mario movie already exists and it's infamous. So it has to kind of shake that off and really give it a good go this time. Thank Christ it's animation.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be live action. I'm not going to lie. when I first heard it. I was like,
Thank
oh.
Christ, it's not.
Can you imagine Seth Rogen in a Donkey
I
Kong
love
costume?
imagining. Yes, I love picturing that. I'm like I said, Mario is so surreal and bizarre, and at this point in the franchise history, it owns how surreal and bizarre it is. And I literally could imagine I couldn't imagine a crappy live action Mario. I could imagine a funny, weird, shitposty live action version of Mario that they would make just for the fun of it, which as a little skit and a Nintendo Direct or something. That
Oh my God! Can you imagine if like Chris Pratt appears in a Nintendo Direct? Oh my God!
it could happen.
Hey, it's me and Mario, and here's the new Mario.
It's me, Mario.
I wonder if they're gonna keep him short.
They
Like,
must.
It's animated, so
They must do.
Yeah,
Yeah, they must do.
They can
Can you imagine?
do anything.
No, like the short jokes, Luigi being taller.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things you can go. You could go with so many things in that. Like, and if they do the whole Peach thing, like especially if they're talking, they're not miming everywhere. It's like, I don't know, like the kiss at the end. Like they could go so many ways. They could go so many ways with this. And I hope they don't go the traditional way. I hope they just go wild with it. I want a Lego movie. That's what I want.
Yeah. I think that's where we want to be, right? The first Lego movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
the other ones weren't so good.
I didn't enjoy the other ones. Even the Batman one, wasn't a fan.
Yeah, I remember watching the first one, but that's pretty much it. I never went out of my way to watch them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides the obvious choice of Charles Martinet fully voicing Mario, who would you guys have chosen anyone different?
Danny is Mario.
Danny DeVito. Yeah, Danny DeVito and Charlie Day as Mario and Luigi. I mean, that is perfect. What the fuck you talking about?
Dude,
I'm telling you, Mario, there's night crawlers.
Because it would just be hilarious throughout the entire film, just hearing his voice. It would be hilarious the entire. Like,
I want to see a Wario by Danny DeVito.
Oh yeah, come on, yeah, they've got to do that.
If there's a sequel, they got to do that.
And then Waluigi by like Mark Hamill or something with his like Skip's voice from regular show.
Because Mark Hamill does do good voice acting. Mark Hamill, after like Star Wars, became a career voice actor. But I think there is also something to be said here of how much more profitable it is to get big, recognizable, funny names on the list instead of career voice actors who are not gonna sell tickets as much.
Mark Hamill will sell tickets.
Mark Hamill was he will. He's like, because he also was Luke Skywalker, but he also has done a lot of really good voice work since then.
Really good
but
voice
it's not like people will buy a game because Nolan North is in it, you know? People me will see this movie because Charlie Day is Luigi, though.
Oh my God, the Enchanted movie will be out next year as well. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
What a video game year, huh?
And the Last of Us HBO series is coming too.
What the
Witcher season 2 is going to be coming. They just had an anime series on Netflix made out of The Witcher.
Dude, did you watch it? It's pretty good.
I've heard it's pretty good. I haven't watched it.
I mean, it's not like I forgot about it as soon as I finished it, but it was pretty good. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh man, this is cool. Like it seems like the same studio who animated everything that's coming on, like Dota and stuff like that. It felt like the same. Like everyone's copying each other. Yeah, everyone's copying each other. Yeah, it seems like that's the way. And Castlevania has like that same art style.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a good art style. But come on, guys, like let's switch it up. Switch it up, guys. Come on.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotta grit my teeth with those guys these days. Dragon's Dogma. What was the other one?
Oh no!
What was the other one?
Don't wrap up Dragon's Dogma into the
Dota,
good shows now.
Dragon's Dogma. What was the Gods one?
Dota was good. What do you
I didn't watch Dota. I didn't. And also, what was the Gods one? There was a Gods one or something like Hercules. Was it Hercules? Oh, I forget what it was.
Blood of Zeus, right?
Yes, Blood of Zeus. Zeus, same studio, right?
Yeah, I didn't watch that either. I looked at it and I was like, I'll skip. Until someone says, you gotta watch this.
Yeah, let George talk about that one.
Oh my God, I love the way they infuse history into this anime in this very special way.
I mean, Thermaroma.
That's what I sound like to you?
Yes.
It's a me,
exactly.
George.
It's a me, George.
Oh my gosh. You ain't getting no love.
George a weed man.
So I have a scary question, and that is why do we think they're doing this? Because they're obviously pouring a shitload of money. Like every person on the list is an extremely expensive.
Because Mario
hire.
is massive, but guess what? Minions is more massive.
Are
Isn't
you
that
really
something?
serious? Minions is
Easy.
more popular than Mario?
Easy, even in Japan.
Minions does a lot
is
of
more-
money.
Yeah, even in
Yeah.
Japan. Minions is huge in Japan as well. Easily. It's not even a contest.
I don't
Everyone
get it.
knows Mario, but would you argue which one's more popular in Japan? Everyone would just say Minions.
Well, it's not like Nintendo needs the money.
But
So
if you walk,
and it's not like
what would you see down the street? Would you see a Mario backpack, or would you see a Minions backpack on children? Arguably.
I feel like it could go, okay, Minions.
Yeah, exactly.
So wait. Nintendo wants the Minions audience. Is that why they're doing this?
I think Nintendo's at a
They're-
turning point. I don't think they want that kind of success. They have success that works for them, but I think in terms of what they can do with Mario is beyond video games, but not really beyond video games, right? Like everyone
Well, we
knows
have this theme
Mario.
park.
Yeah, but that
Yeah,
but
I think they're branching.
nobody's been able to go to it, especially from anywhere else. But that's the thing. I think what they're doing now is they're seeing that they've kind of exhausted the Mario video game pipeline in terms of like making one spectacular 3D Mario game every fucking 5-10 years, right? And now they have a mascot that they can turn into a brand that is beyond video games in a much larger capacity. I think that's what
So
their
they
next
want-
step is.
They want all the kids to have Mario backpacks
Yeah.
again for the first time since the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, but not in the
Because
video.
that was how it was back then.
They're gonna sell a lot of toys, a lot of video games during this whole thing. They're gonna make
Yeah.
a lot of money.
And we'll be in this weird cross point, right? Where there'll be the animated version of Mario who won't look anything like the video game version of Mario that we love.
Really?
I
You
think
think
so.
so?
I think so. I don't think it'll look like the Nintendo Mario. I think it'll be like an American cartoony version of Mario.
Oh God! So we're gonna have to
And-
like juggle the Resident Evil movie versus video game verse.
And it will be that Mario that you will then start seeing more and more of, I think, around, and it will always know that that's movie Mario, but then this is video game Mario, right? But movie Mario is the one that is, fucking everywhere.
Because I mean, Mario doesn't look like the 64 Mario, right? Mario doesn't look like how he looked like in Super Mario World. Like he keeps evolving. This might be the next step. Yeah.
Well, since like the GameCube era, the design has kind of sort of stabilized as the graphical fidelity plateaued. Box arts of Mario on GameCube games don't look any different from how the character render usually looks nowadays.
No, but he's still Nintendo. He's still Nintendo. Like I don't think that's going to be the same. I think they're going to make it the way that Illumination would make it. Of course, Miyamoto's going to have somewhat the final call on it, but I think it's going to look something different to the Mario that we see, like the chubby little Mario. I think he's going to be different.
Yeah, I feel like Mario Odyssey looks different. Like it's just like slow changes. I feel. I mean, he still looks like Mario, but yeah,
He's a lot more expressive.
yeah.
I don't think I would like it if they went too off. Like I want him to be a weird, bubbly little balloon boy man.
But he's got.
If they make him tall and slender,
they're
Chris
not going to do
Pratt,
that, but they're going to make him look like he's the main character of a story, right?
He already does. Why can't you have Mario? Why can't?
Also, can you picture the Nintendo Mario, like the CG 3D render of Mario that we see on all the promotionals? Can you imagine that guy talking in Chris Pratt's voice? I can't.
Yeah, that's why everyone's so weirded out by the Chris Pratt show. It's hard to imagine that character talking a lot in general.
And in general, yeah. So I think.
But that character is built for like body comedy.
The one I think they're probably going to look at. This is kind of out left field. Do you know the Mario and Luigi Partners in Time like series? The Mario and Luigi RPGs on the DS, right? You know how that Mario and Luigi have a different art style where they look a bit taller and slimmer and stuff, but Luigi...
Oh, it is so slight. I had to look it up. It is so
slight. It is so slight, but it is noticeably different. I think they're going to... And that's still a very Japanese-looking version of those characters. I think they're going to do something like that. Where it is very slight,
okay,
but it's
fine.
off.
If it's slight, then all right. But if they drastically change his proportions... if it's a Sonic situation where he's a weird rat creature, then maybe we'll have to talk. But if it's so slight that I don't notice the first few times, then I won't even notice. It'll be fine.
Hey, it's me, Mario.
It's a me, Mario.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
I'm looking forward to watching footage of the premiere with Miyamoto hugging Chris Pratt. What the weird world we live in now. This is mad.
Yeah, you can't tell what's a shit post and what's real.
I thought it was a shit post.
I thought it was like
only until Liam
delirious.
commented on it. I was like, with the official one, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
Oh, it's for real.
It's for real. Like it was like 7 a.m. here, and I was watching the direct, and I was falling in and out of sleep, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on? What is happening?"
Mm-mm.
Also, the fact that they just did it, like they just said it with a picture and then the character name, and instead of like a video or like a big bonanza of the different actors saying, "Yeah, I'm playing Bowser," and then it's just so funny.
I swear the headshots they chose were like. The headshots were chosen for deliberate comedy purposes, too. That screenshot of Chris Pratt's headshot next to Mario of him looking nothing at all like Mario for the picture they chose that had to have been deliberate, right? The people who put together these Nintendo Directs, they laugh along with us, right?
I'm sure in some way they have some fun.
In some way. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Is it time?
Yeah, fun news. It's time. It's time for listener questions, which I am going to be pulling from Patreon for the majority for a couple weeks by the looks of things, because you need to fill up our boxes. Come fill up our box at dadandsonspodcast.
We have big box.
Come fill.
Mr. Bubbles on Patreon asked, Dad and Sons, what sound effects are burned into your head?
Mario ones?
Mario, yeah.
Which ones?
It's a me.
Definitely Metal Gear. Metal Gear sounds are exclamation point.
The codec.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any sound effects that your brain will make you hear even when you don't want to hear them?
My alarm for my phone.
Is it a video game thing? Because video games are the most important thing in the world. It's the meaning of life.
No,
because I do feel like whenever I was getting my COVID shots, I heard that Half-Life health station noise. Like, doo, 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 doo.
I think you need to see someone about that. It's concerning.
No, it's you don't hear video game sound effects in your head when you go through daily activities sometimes?
No.
I hear music. I hear music a lot.
I do hear a lot of music.
Yeah, definitely music, but my brain totally associates medical healthcare activities with the Half-Life health station noises. When I'm at the doctor's office, that's just the place my brain goes to when I go through medical stuff. It's a good, satisfying sound effect. And there's also the very well documented phenomenon of having Tetris dreams, and sometimes when I'm fiddle with things like this toenail clipper I'm fingering in my hands right now, my brain will imagine a Tetris rotational noise.
Podcast. George.
I didn't mean it in a sexual. I'm just fiddling with the toenail clipper, just spinning it around to keep my fingers occupied.
It's okay to be alone, George. Like it's, just
No,
keep
too
it
much
off
of
the podcast,
that is
bro.
a bad thing. But yeah, is this just me? Is that how big of a weirdo I am?
No, I'm pretty sure some people.
Yeah, I
hear
think
that stuff,
association. Yeah. Boom.
I think I just listen to music more than I play.
Yeah.
Play video games.
Maybe this is the difference between someone who has a brain more tuned to music and someone who doesn't.
Possibly.
Is that the sound effects stick in my memory harder?
Yeah, I think of video game music like all the time. That I do for sure.
That is an interesting phenomenon. I've never, talked about it before. I've never even thought about it before. But I think based on our conversation, I think we just discovered that there's a lot more sound effects that like my brain will go to make my activities more interesting. And you guys do that with music. And I am the one who's always had a harder time appreciating music compared to you two. That is fascinating. Huh.
Next question.
Alan Y says, hello, dads. I just finished my first Prime Trilogy playthrough, and I was floored with how much I enjoyed the exploration. Ooh. Considering that 2D Metroidvanias are some of the most popular indie genre of all time, why haven't the Prime games been a source of similar inspiration?
Because making 3D games is way harder than 2D games, my friend. That's it.
But there haven't even been any like shitty Unity clones of.
Well, you've got like Anodyne and stuff like that. That's kind of not maybe inspired by those, but can give off similar vibes. But Prime's a double A, triple A video game. It's very hard to replicate that kind of thing.
I also feel like Subnautica is the closest experience you can get in the lower budgeted world to a Prime game, and it still looks and plays nothing like. I mean, I just said it still plays only a little bit like Metroid Prime. But yeah, they did that in Unity. It took years and shitloads of money and was in early access forever. But that's like the one I can think of is Subnautica, like first person exploration game where the focus is more on the exploration than the combat. But also, I feel like the control scheme of Metroid Prime is a huge roadblock. Like, the reason why scanning feels cool is because you're not just pointing and clicking on stuff with either the GameCube controller or the Wiimote. Doing that with a mouse and a keyboard is something where the repetition grinds in if you do it too much, which is a problem Subnautica was having.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I haven't played the Primes, because, it's a Wii game.
The Prime games are good, though.
Fucking Wii game.
I'm a fan of controller gimmicks, and that's not very compatible with small indie budgets. And I feel like a lot of the thrill, if you plugged Metroid Prime into a traditional WSAD, WASD, mouse and keyboard control scheme, I don't think it would feel as cool to scan things and pan over the environment. You hold the R trigger down and then gently move the stick, and you are sacrificing your movement to do that scan. When you do that on a mouse and a keyboard, you're going to question why you can't move while you scan. And then you're going to quickly whip through environments and speed through the game. And it's not going to feel as slow and deliberate and immersive.
Such good games, though. Yeah, but I mean, also at the same time, from a realistic standpoint, 3D games, how many indie 3D games do you often see anyway? Not that many. And usually indie games you see are from bigger studios. It's a tough one for sure, but that's kind of the reality.
I think.
Also, imagine trying to make a game like Prime. Like you're stepping into some hot shoes to fill right there.
Subnautica, yeah, they were self-published. Yeah, Subnautica is like the only example I think you'll find. The one exception.
Definitely the horror element carries over.
Contrail says, how do you feel about fishing minigames? Do you have any favorites or ones you cannot stand?
I like fishing minigames a lot. I hate fishing minigames that don't actually fish. You just press a button and then you collect the fish. Don't like those ones. I like the ones that actually require you. Even with Animal Crossing, there's a bit of like waiting and testing and sight spotting with the shadows and stuff, but the ones that are just like automatic, like the bait goes down, you press A, the fish comes out, fuck those ones, because they're just grinding collecting ones. Well, even with the Pokemon, it leads into a battle. I'm thinking like JRPG ones that are just
Nier
collecting fish.
Nier had an awful fishing minigame that everyone hated, that was one of the big contributors to that game reviewing so poorly. They ended up patching it afterwards so that the game that the cult classic fans were playing, that the game that the people played that would have made the reviews sound like stupid pieces of shit, was an actually different game than what was being reviewed because the fishing minigame was so bad. The problem was a character gave you wrong directions. They patched a line of dialogue that had you fishing in the correct spot, whereas in the beginning, the game launched with the guy giving you, it got caught up in localization somehow, just one line. But the fishing minigame was not something special in the first place. But one thing that's blown my mind in recent times is that the fishing minigame in fucking Cruelty Squad is more developed and thought out than the fishing in Animal Crossing and Pokemon and Nier and stuff. Fucking Cruelty Squad. You actually have to like reel it in and judge the value of the fish based on the market, and different fish show up in different places. It's not all the same across the whole game. You sometimes you can fish in a puddle of mud on the street and still get something that you can sell on the market for a fluctuating value that's always changing. And that's how you also are supposed to like kind of sort of break the game's economy to be able to buy a house at the end of it. The fishing minigame in Cruelty Squad is one of the good ones. Does Yakuza ever have fishing?
I never played one with fishing.
Oh, does it? Yeah, it does. Yakuza 6, I believe.
Tails has fishing as well, but it's fucking annoying. It's I don't understand it. They don't explain it well, but that's just classic with just some Japanese games. So I understand, like you don't know how to catch bigger fish. Like you're just like pressing random buttons to see what combination brings the fish that you want to the line. It's a very weird mini game. I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just weird. But, you know, they try to do something different and, you know, it sort of works. So, yeah.
I think just the OG Ocarina of Time. That fishing minigame I adored so very much. And probably if I went back and played it, not great, just like most of Ocarina of Time. But it's the OG. I love it.
The OG.
There's a lot more going on in that one than the usual. Like the fish have AI. There's a big one at the bottom that you have to get the smaller fish out of the way first to reach. I spent too much time with that thing. I don't know how I feel about it though, because the fishing minigame can kind of sort of ride the line between either feeling like a waste of time or a meaningless distraction. I don't know if I've ever felt like I was doing something important and critical that I'm gonna have memories of on my deathbed with a fishing minigame.
Yeah,
it's not a bad way to...
Oh, are you watching a dog too? Oh, I thought that's what you were laughing at.
No.
I'm just waiting for him to take a big shit on your carpet.
On the webcam.
On camera.
And we have to pretend like it's not happening.
Yeah.
It might, dude, if I hadn't taken him out this morning, that could have happened. Anyways, Eddie's bladder is empty. I very diligently walk my dog. Thank you very much. He's not just going to take a shit on the floor on webcam while the podcast is recording, while we're trying to ask Liam questions here, like this one from Thoreau. Liam, for a British person who lives in Japan, I noticed that you often refer to prices in United States dollars. How are you so familiar with USD currency, and why do you choose to discuss prices in those terms?
I actually did answer this in the Discord today because I didn't think it would be interesting of an answer. But
Fuck me.
I mean, maybe it is interesting because I don't
thought
really
it was
think
interesting. Yeah,
I don't think in pounds at all anymore. I don't. When I first arrived, I couldn't make heads or tails of yen. But actually, as I go on, and of course, I know a lot of Americans over here as well. Honestly, it's just because 100 yen to $1 is almost there.
So easy.
it's pretty easy.
So it's 1 to 1.
1 cent, basically.
I would, but I don't think of cent. I just think of dollar. So because I don't quarter and all that stuff. I don't think about. I just think 100 yen, $1.
Just fine.
500 yen, $5. 1,000 yen, $10. And I
100
never
cents,
ever convert
$1.
ever to pounds ever, because pounds is massively huge compared to the yen and the dollar. So still, even with Brexit somehow. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. And so when I talk with the guys on the podcast, and I'm like, oh, it's $80, right? Actually, what I'm saying is it's hasanen. It's 8,000 yen. Because in my head, I'm actually just doing the yen. I don't think of the dollars.
Gosh, that
actually,
sounds so cool. Just to hasen yen.
It's
what a language. What a beautiful language.
But in my head, it's the yen. The yen price is there, and I just automatically say the dollars. So if it's, oh my God, I can't believe that's $120, it's like ichimani senen or whatever the hell.
I swear.
So
If
it just comes up as big numbers.
The creeping tendrils of globalization eventually kill the Japanese language in a few centuries, that's going to be such a tragedy. Just hasen. Oh, it sounds so good.
You gonna move the Japan, George? Because it's starting to sound like it.
No, I don't know. I just am so fascinated by how different cultures can manifest into different quirks of thinking, and how linguistics can do that too. How like the grammar is so different. You speak like Yoda, like you kind of begin with the verb and leave your subject for the end, and you go. I don't know if it's too big of a rabbit hole to wonder if that kind of sort of manifests in collectivism versus individualism of Eastern versus Western cultures, and if some of that is baked into a language that can describe a concept as abstract as 80,000 units of currency into a word as absolutely elegant and fun to say with your mouth and tongue as hasen yen.
I just like the fact that I can go over there with like $10,000 and I'll have 1,000,000 yen.
That is true.
A millionaire.
Well, you'll actually have a little more than 1,000,000 yen. But
congratulations!
I'm looking at it now. It's 9,000.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Bezos.
Jeffrey Bezos.
You did it.
Put you back into it.
I barely know any Japan whatsoever, but I did get to the numbers, and it was way less complicated than I thought it would be. But man, oh man, some stuff in Japan just sounds fucking cool. And I love that just like the number 8,000 yen sounds so cool. Why am I gravitating towards that? I'm a weirdo.
I mean, it's different. It's different than the U.S. The U.S., I don't know. You grew up with it. It's probably dull.
Yeah. It's exotization. It's why they think that the Bible is cool, so they make Bayonetta out of it.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, Bayonetta is way cooler than the Bible, let me tell you. Yeah, I don't know if there's any similarities, though. It's just literally just heaven and hell that they're...
Heaven or hell.
Paradiso and
Let's rock.
No, Bayonetta is like actually sourced. The angels you fight are descriptions in the Old Testament angels, not the Greek New Testament stuff where they're like beautiful buff people in robes. But in the Old Testament, when the Hebrews were like barely surviving in the desert, coming up with their mythology, they were visualizing rings of eyes in the skies watching them. They were visualizing really abstract, weird things that is the primary source material for a lot of monster designs in Bayonetta, specifically the wheels of eyes. It's the wheels of eyes that always gets people. When you think of angels, you think of a hot, sexy, almost naked person wearing flowing white Greek robes, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of how you can tell the New Testament is more of a Greek thing than the Old Testament is.
That is so eye-opening.
Yeah, I mean, really, it does totally change your perspective on pop culture, and this Project Eve game that's coming out is totally a product of the same thing. Like when you're watching Japanese media and you see like weird eye creatures or giant cathedrals that they just like love putting so much detail into, that's exotization from the other side. Like that is the opposite of me thinking that the language sounds cool and beautiful. And And you know, like why you kill God at the end of so many JRPGs is because of how different their concept of institutionalized religion is, and how fascinating they find that history when learning about the West.
That's probably why a
That's
lot
how
of
different religious history has gone on the different hemispheres.
it's probably why a lot of kids like Japanese games.
Mm-hmm.
Killing God at the end.
Oh.
And
Oh,
it's like it's weird. It's weird that like the whole like RPGs in general, it's just like we kind of gamified being poor and just like building yourself up to being able to kill the highest creature. I don't know, the toughest creature. It's like, oh, I've made it. Yeah,
you did
it's
it.
like, I come from a small town with nothing. All I have is 10 gil. And now I have all this armor and a house and, went on all these travels around the world. And now I'm going to, destroy God.
Kill God.
And kill God because God never gave anything to me. It's so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah. I mean, there literally are books you could write about this stuff, but the long and short of it has to do with how in Asian history, the religious institutions never had as much power as the church did in the West. That there wasn't like a schism where between the pagan times and the Christian times, where there was like infighting within the religious authorities that ended up separating the church from the state, while also fueling a whole lot of justifications for wars and stuff. The history of religious institutions fighting wars and controlling people with big power is totally different over there compared to here. And that manifests in the JRPGs, where institutionalized religious weirdos are the bad guys and the final boss is some sort of god.
I love how we went from British currency to Japanese currency to then killing God, which I feel like is the pathway of most JRPGs and how stories start and end in JRPGs.
Yeah.
Oh, look,
Man.
I finally got a coin from the good sir. Now I'm killing God.
Yeah.
Man, I wish more games did religion like Morrowind did religion, where there's religious
it's always
characters
Morrowind with you.
who are telling you that you're fulfilling an ancient prophecy if you follow their directions. But if you disobey them, then they start questioning whether or not you're following the prophecy or if you were just prophesized to disobey their orders. Like it gets into the irony of how the pagan religious authorities in the ancient world would justify things like sacrificing your farm animals. It's not that sacrificing your animals to the god made your farm more profitable. It's that the farms that were already profitable enough to have livestock they could sacrifice were the ones that were already doing better. Not like there's inductive logic to what? We got to wrap up.
Yeah, we do. It's time for New World, baby.
All right, Matt's going to go play an MMO. I'm going to go play Deathloop and a Metal Gear Solid parody. And you guys will get to hear and see a lot of that.
I'm going to go to bed.
And Liam's gonna sleep and work on his own game that we will all be playing in a few months' time.
Thank you,
No pressure.
Canley.
No pressure.
Thank you, Canley.
Thank you. Shit. It's called Curse to Golf. Wish list on your Steam library. Oh God. Was that sarcastic or genuine? I can't tell. Social
Hopefully
anxiety.
Definitely wish list it. Definitely.
Yeah, you won't have to pay $60 on launch.
It will be $60.
65 actually.
Fucking swear, Liam, if this game's
Just
actually
end-
$60, I'm gonna freak
No, is
out.
it? Fuck. No, God, no. God. Nobody. I can't imagine anybody selling a pixel art game for more than $30 these days.
Oh my god.
Oh God! I'm so the sweat dripping down. What a weird position to be in. Is this what they warned me about in school? I don't know.